I'm just gonna go ahead and send this to you now that we started recording. This is what I was looking at. I do research. As
Someone does
as
research, totally, not
yes,
me.
as a good researcher, I was a good student. Did a lot of research.
Is this the link to the Mein Kampf?
Huh? Huh? Wait, whoa, well, now slow down there. Slow down. First of all, it's a work of literature. Okay, we have to
Uh-huh.
learn how to separate the art from the artist. People still listen to Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I don't see
So
where you're
why
going with
wouldn't we
this.
read Hitler's book
I think there's
or
a lot of
enjoy his
reasons why.
paintings? I, for one, have never seen a Hitler painting, but he was. He was a
Uh,
failed painter. That's
well,
kind of
that's
why he
why you
tried to
didn't
take
see
over the
any of
world.
them. So
Well,
what you're saying
how
is,
about we look it
if we
up?
fail at our dreams,
Hitler's
just attack every.
paintings.
Don't do this.
I mean, could you imagine how much they go for these days?
Well, probably a lot if they're in someone's personal collection.
No way. How? Okay. If you fail, how are you a failed artist if you paint something like this?
Hold on, I want
That's
to see now.
unbelievable.
I
I have
wish
a
to
painting
see.
very similar to this on my wall. Technically,
Oh.
it's a lithograph, but
Oh, it could be one of those things where it's like after the artist dies,
what?
uh, their work gets. Oh, whoa, this is so good. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but
That's what I'm saying. I have a painting that looks okay. Hold on. Well, I'll have to
maybe they
take
were
a
just
photo of
comparing
this
him
and
to
send
like
it.
the greats or something. Maybe
I
he just had
guess
imposter
so.
syndrome. That's what it was.
He
He just
produced
had imposter syndrome.
hundreds of works. When he tried to sell his paintings as a postcard to earn a living during his Vienna years, he had little commercial success. A number of paintings were recovered and have been sold at auctions for tens of thousands of dollars. Others were seized by the U.S. government. Yeah, that's understandable.
Hmm.
Yeah, neoclassicism, dude. This is all right. That's another really good one. He painted Jesus.
Is he white?
Yes, and
Well,
with
that's
blonde
why.
hair.
That's yeah. That's definitely the reason why.
I mean, I don't want to, to speak ill of the dead. He was a good painter. How on earth do you fail? This dude is
Not
how?
unglazing Hitler.
Oh God, don't use that terminology.
Yeah, that's what you're doing right
Dude,
now.
if I could have 1/10 of the artistic ability of Adolf Hitler, and there's our quote for the episode, I guess.
Well, guess it's time to go. It's been fun, you guys.
And we were concerned, but nothing was happening in the news. Yeah, let's just bring up Hitler and him being a good painter. Boy, oh boy. We can't get censored for this, can we?
I mean, I think we absolutely can. And
Well,
probably
okay,
will.
here's how we make it good. You just say something good about him or say something bad about him.
No,
And then we can, that we can take a stance as a collective, as Lamb on the John, as John talks to
I
Lamb.
shall not. John, if I let you have your way all the time, we would become a train wreck.
A train wreck?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you think we'd be a train wreck? I'm the one laying down the
See,
tracks
I'm
in
trying to
front of this
keep us on the
train.
rails. You're trying to do. You're no. You're setting up tracks to go on beside the train so we can go that way instead.
I'm
Where we're
saying,
heading.
look over there in the distance. There's a mountain. If we start laying tracks that way, we're gonna
When
get
we're
to that
trying, we're
Adolf Hitler
trying to
mountain.
get to, we are trying to travel to the other side of the country, and you're getting distracted by everything, and you're like, "Wow, look at the sights!" When we have a clear goal at hand, your ADHD is killing us.
Well, there's a lot of beauty in the Neuschwanstein Castle,
Don't do this.
the Munich Royal Hofbrauhaus.
Does anybody want to trade partners? I can't do this anymore.
I'm down. What do we got? Who you got? Who
I don't
you
know
pitching?
anybody else.
And I'll trade. I'm the one getting. Am I the one getting traded, or are you getting traded?
No, I'm getting rid of you.
So then it won't be John talks to Lamb. It'll be you have to find someone with a J, because otherwise the name of the title of the
No, I'll
thing
just
won't make
completely
any sense.
rebrand. Actually, I'll go solo, and I'll just have guests.
Lamb a la Carl. Yeah, I just don't see that.
It'll just be
Just
lamb. Lamb talks.
Lamb talks, and it's just you ranting in a room. Isn't that what your Twitter feed basically is?
First of all, watch your gosh darn mouth.
This went off the rails really quickly. I did not realize I'd be talking about Hitler's paintings today. Why on earth are we talking about Hitler's paintings?
Because you're a monster, that's why.
Okay, well, to smoothly segue out of Adolf Hitler, happy Gay Pride Month, everybody.
Happy Gay Pride Month.
Hitler notoriously did not like the gays. It's an unfortunate aspect of...
And here you are.
of history, but it happens. Some people they just don't like them.
You know who does like the gays? Lady Gaga. Let's give a hand for Lady Gaga,
Yeah, Lady
everybody.
Gaga.
I don't hear you clapping.
I mean, if we had to have a like a supporter, I mean, here's our verses for the episode: Lady Gaga versus Adolf Hitler.
Obviously, Lady Gaga clears. Hitler has nothing on her.
Well, Hitler has military training.
Lady Gaga has the gays.
So, like Medusa, she could just turn into stone.
Sure? No, no.
Oh, you mean
God damn it.
like people, like the people?
No, not the Gaze, the Gays. You know,
You're
the
talking
ones
about
that
she
have
has an
a
army
month.
of fans behind her. He does too.
Absolutely.
Well, he
Little
did.
Monsters.
Let's
Well, I
assume at his
think.
peak. Let's assume at his peak. I mean, he did have an entire
I
world.
mean,
Okay.
they are both world renowned at this point.
Well, you really think that like an army of Blackpink fans could really take on the German military machine at the height of its power?
Listen.
If he said Jimin
The
sucks, they would just go to
K-pop
war.
fans should be feared just as much as gay fans.
I mean, you give them a gun. I mean, or a knife. Anything would really work.
All they have to do is throw glitter bombs, and they're done for.
That's true. If they did it during the day, nobody would stand a chance.
Yeah, what are they gonna see? Nothing. Nothing but glitter, as the shards of glitter shred through their eyeballs.
Oh, it's like weaponized glitter. Are we shooting it out of
Yes.
guns? Or is it like
Oh,
pocket
I'm
sand?
talking about straight full bombs. Bombs of glitter.
Oh, just glitter bombs?
Yeah,
That'd be
like
really bad
a
for the
haze of
environment.
glitter.
It's really, really
It's
bad.
okay. And then the gays have the fans, and they all swing in unison and send like a giant gust of wind, or like start a tornado.
See, when you said she has the gaze, I thought you were like referencing one of her songs because she does
No,
a lot of looking at the camera. At least from what I remember from like
because she's
Poker
an
Face.
actress.
Yeah. Well, yes, well in acting, acting, you're really not supposed to look at the camera.
Unless you
Well,
do.
unless it's a mockumentary
True.
or a
Or
documentary.
yeah, yeah.
It's like
I
Jim from The
suppose.
Office.
He does look at the camera quite a bit.
Yes, he does. Pretty much every episode, multiple times.
That wouldn't be me though.
Well, that's real smooth running start entrance to this.
Well, we can't call Lady Gaga versus Hitler if we want to talk about it for like 2 seconds.
Well, we did. Who do we decide on? Well, you decided on Lady Gaga.
Well, I said Gaga, obviously. But
I'm
I'm a little
opting
biased.
out because I feel like this is a hot topic, and
I'll show you a hot topic.
yeah. Speaking of which, I was looking up like topics, not really topics, but like conversational. Yeah, topics. I guess whatever. And
Mhm.
basically, I just found an image with a lot of different questions on it, and I thought it would be interesting. This is the first thing that pops up when you Google conversation topics. This is the first image that pops up, courtesy of Parade.
Yes.
I guess that's
Shadow
these guys are?
Legends, our sponsor today, everybody.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are. I don't know if I know a lot of people out there struggle with conversation in general. Sometimes you get those moments where the conversation dies down, or you feel like you need to fill in the empty space,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that I think a lot of public speakers in particular. I learned a lot about public speaking. Not a lot about public speaking, but I wouldn't call myself an expert. But I have taken
I'm
public
somewhat
speaking.
of a public speaker myself.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
Are you gonna hold the power of the sun in your hands?
absolutely not. That's too much work.
Yeah, that's fair. But see, a lot of people, struggle with, especially, I would assume in like the dating scene, meeting with friends, meeting family members. A lot of people just sort of struggle with having that conversation with people and letting weird, awkward pauses. I mean, if the YouTube videos that the algorithm has been trying to suggest to me mean anything, I think it thinks I have a problem speaking to people.
Yeah.
Which I would say is inaccurate, especially considering how much you yell at me for talking too much.
See, okay, so here's the thing. There's a difference between talking and having a conversation.
But
You
we
talk
are
a
having
lot.
we're having a
You
conversation.
talk quite a bit. We do have
I said
conversations, but that's
something and then
because,
I
listen,
softballed it over to you, and you
Jonathan,
said, "Mm-hmm."
Mhm.
Who's the conversationalist? Who's the one struggling to have a conversation in this
Listen,
moment? Is
in
it me, the
conversations,
one who is
there's 2
bringing forth?
2
I'm not
key elements in
steamrolling you. How dare you
conversations.
call me a steamroller?
There's two very key elements to a conversation. There's
Right.
the speaker and the listener. You can't have a conversation with 2 speakers or 2 listeners.
Right. There has to be
So
some
when you
give and take.
speak, I listen. Yeah.
Right. Well, you could jump in. I mean, it's not like this isn't like my podium platform up here.
I don't know, that's how you treat it sometimes.
Well, in WWE news this week, I didn't watch any, so there's none. How about that?
Oh, the fans are gonna be disappointed.
Yeah,
They like your
well,
weekly
I know they
updates.
were looking forward to. Oh, wait. No, no, never mind. There
Oh,
wasn't any news. Not
mhm.
newsworthy news.
Oh. I got some newsworthy news.
Yeah, what's your newsworthy news?
Um, I don't have any, I'm sorry.
Nice. Well, let's go back to the struggling with
I'm about to
conversating
quit
with
my
people,
job.
huh? You about to?
It's been a rough week. It's been a
It's been a
very
rough
rough week.
year, man. You've been talking about this for like a year.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk too much on it because uh I don't want to jinx anything. But I
It's fair.
have been looking around. Let's just
Well,
say that.
that's yeah. All right. Well, we'll get our audience to pray for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Um
At any rate, this conversation topic, I sent you this image.
oh
If you
yes.
listener right now, if you Google conversation topics on Google, you will see this image. It's blue. It's got black, I guess, text, maybe dark blue text.
Mhm.
And I thought we could just run through these questions real quick because
Let's
these are perfectly inane. And I'm assuming, right? My point was that a lot of people struggle with speaking and carrying on a conversation. So I'm guessing they just want you to look this up on your phone when you're on let's say on a date with somebody and just
mhm.
go, tell me about yourself. If that's not the most unbelievably open-ended question,
See, I hate questions like this. If you're gonna
that's what
ask me
the
about myself, ask me something specific that I can talk about. Don't leave it open ended because there's so many different aspects of me that I can talk about. But then it comes down to which part of what aspects are actually not important, but interesting enough to talk about, and that you'll actually listen to me talk about. You know?
yes, to their credit, they do put some stuff on here that might be more relevant. What was the last good book you read?
Oh boy, what was the last book I read?
Yep. Okay. All right. Another dud topic, and this this is going really well.
Wait, you have to. What was the last good book you read? The Witcher.
Ooh. Um. No, I wouldn't classify The Witcher as a good book. That might be a hot topic. The
Mm,
um. The actual book itself, because I have read the first one. I forget the name of it, but it's over there. I could find it. It's on my shelf to my left, buried somewhere. But it's more of a collection of short stories, and they're good, but they're also kind of like it's hard to follow the overarching narrative of them.
yeah.
And so I don't know. It's fine. The writing is okay. Obviously, it was translated from I think Polish, so there's a little bit lost in the translation, maybe.
Mm.
But the last like good narrative. What kind of what genre? Just any book in general?
It just asked you for last good book you read.
Yeah, I know. I'm clarifying
Well, it doesn't
because I
give
could
me any
say I read a
clarifiers.
book about the human anatomy and it was really well put together. Or I
Well,
could
then
go, well,
that's
I
was
read a
that the
book about Star
but was
Wars,
that the last good book you read though?
the novelization of episode 7, and I was like, wow, they really fixed a lot of the weird stuff that was happening.
When was the last book? I don't even know.
No clarification. Okay, I see. Yeah, I read a book about human anatomy. I was fascinated.
The last book that I can remember reading is my my Japanese textbook. Does that count?
Like 6 years ago?
I know I've read other things since then. I mean, I guess I've read books that have like stories in them, but I
The
can't remember.
Dungeons and Dragons handbook. Oh, that's right.
I,
You haven't read that either.
first of all, I have read the Player's Handbook.
Oh, that's a surprise.
My roommate has like all the well, not all the books, but all the like beginners books. Yes, you could say.
Like the core ones, yeah.
Yeah, all the core books, and I've had to help people make D&D characters. So yes, I have read through it.
Wow, I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud.
I kind of had to because I kept forgetting how it worked because I'm used to just going to like Wiki or
Or
um.
me. I would say 90% of the people that I play D&D with have never opened the player handbook. I
Well,
don't know
I'm
how they know
in
how to do
person.
it. They get somebody else to do it for them.
Well, that's usually how it goes, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just bizarre.
That's what happens when you're a dungeon master, I guess.
Yeah, you kinda gotta take everybody along for the ride.
Ooh, actually, you
Well,
know what?
that was a
We can talk
oh,
about that in private.
did you find a good book?
No. Actually, hold on. Let me check my desk.
Alright, well, while he's searching, so the next question on this list is, have you done anything exciting lately?
I've been
Also pretty
driving
open-ended.
quite a
Driving?
bit. But I mean, granted, it's only around property. But I've been driving my boss's car.
Yeah, well, that's what kinda car is it?
It's a Dodge. It's a SUV kind of
Oh, okay,
van
alright.
kind of deal, which
You
is
said
a
Dodge, I
lot
thought you were about to
bigger.
say a Challenger. I was like, "He lets you drive his sports car?"
Oh yeah, I crashed like twice now. But I've only been driving around property. I've been the guy who he sends to go grab stuff. So like I've gotten a lot more confident behind the wheel. I think
Nice.
I've been driving by myself, which is a big thing. Which is why it's exciting because I definitely the first time he asked me, I said no, I refuse because I'd never really driven by myself except for maybe like twice. But again, that was just to practice driving around like the parking lot.
Yeah,
Uh,
it sure is pretty terrifying going from especially well, I would say the most terrifying thing about that scenario for me is driving somebody else's car.
yeah, no, you're absolutely correct.
He must have a lot of faith in you.
For some reason, he was asking me if I wanted it, and I just have to like pay it off, and he was like, "Only 250 a month," and I was like, "That's not bad. I have to think about it." He goes, "No, I need an answer now." I said, "I need time, please." And he was like, "You think too much," and I said, "I know. I need time to think about it."
They just make a
Because he's
split
trying to get
decision. Yeah.
the wild part is that it's not even his car; it's his wife's car. They're trying to get a new one because he has
Oh, so
another
they
one.
want you to wreck it. That way they can get the insurance money?
I guess I don't
Sick.
know, man. Because
That's
like
a that's a business
he had
move.
a truck. Like he had a Ford truck, but he ended up giving that to one of my coworkers. He
What?
had a Suburban, but that one broke down, and now he's driving his wife's car. But he's looking to get a new van. And I'm like, where are you getting this money from?
The renters. He's a rental lord.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nice. Well, that's a good topic. What about podcasts? Do you listen to any podcasts? That's question 4.
Um,
Yeah.
I've dab-
Yeah, I actually listen to Lamb all the John. John talks to Lamb all the
I don't
time.
really listen to John Talks Slam except for whenever we need to listen to it.
I
I mean,
I
I'll
think
pull
that's
it
the
up at work
key.
sometimes. Just if I'm like, I don't feel like listening to music today, and I don't have like a podcast that I like loyally listen to at all. Uh, Even like the guys that I send you all the time on Instagram, the Basement Yard.
Yeah.
I think I love them so much. I don't think I've actually sat down and listened to one of their podcasts.
Oh, you're
I've
more like a
only
clip
ever,
fiend.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. Understandable. Yeah, I
but
think the
that's
key,
about
one
it.
of the key tenets to this podcast is that we don't listen to our old episodes. Like we'll listen to them
Oh
in the
yeah.
edit. That way we know it's not, like sounding horrible. But
So if you ever hear us talking about the same topic the exact same way, it's because we don't remember talking about it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, what we should do, well, there's, I don't know. If we
Tie
made
them up in
like a
clips.
topics
Hmm.
of what we've talked about before. I mean, there's recurring
We
ones.
could
Like
do
I
that. I
talk
mean,
about
oh
randomly
yeah.
WWE at times.
I mean, we have our master document that kind of has the topics we talk about, but that's just like the main ones.
Yeah, those are the big overarching ones, which I guess is
Yeah.
good. The overarching ones are the ones that we talk about on large scale. If we mention something offhandedly, maybe it comes up later as a large hand topic.
Yeah. And if you want to see little tidbits about that, you can follow us on Twitter at John.
Yes,
John,
absolutely.
right?
Good plug. Salt. I'm pretty sure that's what
Yeah,
we're.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. John on, I'm sorry, on X.com.
Yes,
Because
X.com. I
good
think
old
it's. I don't know if
Elon.
it's officially X, formerly known as Twitter.
I I don't know. It's definitely
I
not that
forget.
way. Let's see. X. Yeah, when you look it up, it just goes X. It's what's happening.
Wait a second. Isn't that our slogan? Wait.
Is it? Can we
Is
see
it?
it?
Wait, is the Twitter? Wait, are you saying that the X?
When I looked up X, that's what came up. Show up on Twitter. Or whenever you're on Google, the first thing that you see is Twitter.com X. It's what's happening.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. No, because that's not actually our.
Our slogan?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, where
I
we have a
actually I think that
Twitter
might be
slogan?
the. I don't remember putting that, but that might be on my personal X.
That'd be kind of funny. Let's
I
see,
think it
because
might just be
our
because that's what
for
the
our
basic idea was.
podcast description, it says two fairly average Joes discuss everything from moral relativity to sleeping wrong. Because the world can always use another podcast.
Yes, that's accurate. That's
Oh,
accurate.
we have a little support thing. How does this work?
He's getting distracted. Okay, question number 5. Question number 5. What made you smile today? I heard it in your voice. If you don't say John, I'm quitting the podcast.
Then get out. I can tell you what did make me smile today, but
You tell you what didn't?
oh
Boy,
yeah, I could
you
go
gotta
on and
turn that
on.
frown upside down, man.
Oh, so fun fact. I'm distracted again. Our Twitter says we're funny, we swear, because that's what our YouTube says as well.
Yes, yes. Solid phrasing. I think we ran through like 4 or
What made
5
me
different.
smile today? Ooh, I guess John would be an answer, but I had a pretty rough morning, as you know, and I was gonna order some comfort food because I deserve it. And then I also don't have money to do that, but I said I don't care. But then I remembered I had leftover pizza.
Wow,
That's
yeah,
what made me
that
smile.
would make that would make me
I
smile.
saved money and I got to eat.
Nice. The double whammy.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a
Yes,
big
ma'am.
old grin. That's a toothy one right there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Gang.
Well, now they kind of skip to the side. What do you think is the best show on Netflix? Or I guess streaming in general, we could expand out a little bit.
Um,
Right now.
I
Sorry, not in general. What is the best show right now?
well, I'm just gonna choose the last thing I watched on Netflix, which was like back in November, which was Castlevania Nocturne.
Is that the sequel to that's the animated one?
Yeah, that's the one with Richter.
Is that the
And
sequel to Castlevania? Like the
technically,
animated
it
one
is
that they
a
did?
sequel. I don't think it can be considered a direct sequel because it takes place generations later. Um,
I would say that's a sequel. Well, yeah, down the
but
line.
yeah, no, it is a sequel because it uses the same characters or references the same characters rather from the first Castlevania.
But all of them are dead? Spoiler alert. I guess except for the vampires.
Yeah, that's kind of how vampires work. Well, technically, not all the vampires would be alive, but I don't know. But it's really good. I didn't know anything about Castlevania outside of like from Smash, you know. Uh, and it's pretty sick. It's pretty good. Like I don't even I don't I'm trying not to spoil anything, but it's because I think the reason why I started watching it is because I went into my friend's house and he was watching the original Castlevania and he was on like the last 2 episodes and I didn't understand anything that was going on, but its finale crazy, absolutely insane. And so then we found out that Castlevania Nocturne was on there, and it's even better animation, better story. Maybe not better story. I don't know. I didn't watch the first one, but it's fantastic, and that's the first show in a long time. Hell, I think that's the first show that I'd watched in over a year. When I watched that one, that I was excited for season 2, and upset that I had to wait for a year for it to come out.
Oh, I see. So
And I'm
you have
still
never
waiting.
played the games then?
No, well, no, I don't think I have. No.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I don't know. Oof, I don't even know when the last one came out. Most of them were back on, I think, the NES. So that was kind of before our time.
Yeah.
But I feel like they pivoted to PlayStation after that. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I too have not
Possibly,
played the
possibly.
Castlevania games. I've watched some clips of them online, but beyond that, yeah, Super Smash Bros. Is about my only real relationship with Simon or Richter.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You should watch it. I think you would enjoy it. It's got a
Well,
great
I've seen at least the first half of the season of Castlevania.
you gotta watch the end. It gets crazy. They're supposed to be vampire hunters. That's all I'm gonna
Right.
say.
I see. Okay. Didn't it like break out into war? Well, no, I might be getting mixed up. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop postulating on something that I may or may not remember. When did that come out? Like 4 years ago?
Nocturne or Castlevania?
The first Castlevania.
Let's find out. Castlevania. Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, way longer than that. Okay. Yeah, I may or may not have seen it. I would have watched it when it came out,
Mm.
but
Well, you
I
just
don't
gotta
really.
catch up.
It's been long enough that was before I would have started recording. So I would not know anything about it because don't remember anything. Okay, next question. So we've covered that. Well, that's on Netflix, right?
Yeah,
Is Netflix the one that you watch primarily, or
I guess
are you like
technically Disney
a
Plus,
Disney Plus? Okay.
but I've only used it for a couple of shows that I think there's only one show that I've actually finished though. But the last for if we're just using any streaming platform, uh, definitely X-Men '97.
On Disney Plus?
Yeah,
Oh, well, cool. All right.
that is my vote. Yes.
X-Men 97. Is that
Yeah,
the like first
that's
one?
this. No, the original one is X-Men. X-Men '97 is a sequel that came out this year that takes place directly after the events of the original X-Men.
Oh, so
Um,
it's like a new release.
yeah,
Wow.
it's not like a reboot or anything. Which a lot of people thought it was going to be, but no, it's like is a direct sequel. And I haven't watched all the original X-Men. Heck, I didn't watch a lot of it to be honest. But like growing up, my family was a big fan of the X-Men, big fan of the mutants and all that. Uh, and this show just takes it to a whole other level, and it does not do a lot of uh, sparing feelings
Oh,
because
okay.
people are main characters type things, you know.
Right.
And every episode ends on a cliffhanger that has you like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Which
Nice.
there's
Well,
not a
that
lot of
yeah.
shows that can do that.
Yeah,
That
that's sort of an art
yeah,
form that has kind of fallen by the wayside.
and it's. I'm not gonna say every cliffhanger is like a plot twist because it's not, but every episode feels like it came out of left field, or the cliffhanger feels like it came out of left field for a lot of it, and you're like, are you joking? That's not how they're gonna end this, right? Uh, and then the finale came out I think 3 weeks ago. But me and Chanel we finally watched it the other day, and we were just like, "Whoa,
Does Hugh Jackman voice Wolverine? Hmm.
no,
Is
no, he does
Wolverine
not."
in it?
Yes,
Okay, but somebody else voices him? That's all right.
correct.
I get
I
behind
don't
that.
remember how many of them are using their original voice actors though. I do know that the character who played Jubilee opted out. The person who played Jubilee opted not to because Jubilee is of Asian descent, and the voice actor originally was white. And she said that somebody who is of Asian, who is AAPI, should be the person to voice them.
Oh.
But I don't know who else is returning, or if there's anyone else returning. That return, I should say. But you know, all the baddies are there. They had Nightcrawler in there, and that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. That's my favorite mutant.
Is Nightcrawler your guy?
Yeah, that's my guy.
Nice.
And in that one, he actually has a German accent because he's German. Well,
Oh,
he
yeah.
grew up in Germany, I believe.
I
Is
feel
what
like they did that in the movie, and now I don't
I
remember.
can't remember. It's been a long time. But
Movies, whichever one he was
the
in.
way that they did the show is what they should have done with the movies. Like the way that the story is made and the pacing and whatnot. That's what we want to see happen in the live action, pretty much.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, that's my answer.
Nice. Well, that's good to know. The next question on this is, how did you meet the host? I'm pretty sure by host it would mean me. No,
Well, I met
wait.
myself when I was born.
Yes, as
Well,
the flying spaghetti noodle monster inside of the flesh. How did you and your flesh meet? Hmm.
well, we were floating in the ethereal abyss. And,
Right. Right.
I
There
don't
was
know
a
if we
bright
talked about.
light. Suddenly, I looked up and there was a man in white.
I
Mother
think I don't know. I wasn't
gripped the
sentient at that point.
cord, bites into it with her teeth.
Oh, I don't like where this is going. I gotta get a better
Could you
stomach.
imagine if really everybody was just like, I'm sure you've seen that image of the nervous system, which is just basically what you are.
Yeah.
I like what would happen if everybody was that before? Well, before and after. No, really, it would have to be before. Like primordial soup, right? Let's assume there's no after, but there is a before.
Hmm.
So you are this flying spaghetti monster like let's assume there's a fifth dimension basically
Hmm.
right above where we are right now. And so there are
Yeah.
noodle monsters out there, us, and they basically decide like, yeah, I think I'd like to try the flesh. And so then they get turned into a little baby. It's like a bizarre conversation to have with somebody.
This is very bizarre conversation.
Isn't it
I'd like
kind
to
of the
think that
concept that
whenever we are materialized as people, the big guy in the sky comes down with a giant fork and wraps us up around it, and then puts us in a body. I
Oh,
don't know.
is that what
Just
the
kind of
spine is? The spine is
yeah,
just
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
fork
yeah.
that they scoop this out of the primordial soup with?
Absolutely.
I see, I see. And then the brain is just one of the meatballs in the primordial soup.
Yeah.
Ooh, this
No, there's
is
actually it's actually two meatballs that they squish together.
what's this? Oh, left and right half?
Yeah.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
That makes well, there's only the fork is only 2 prongs, so you can only get 2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a little pike or
Yeah,
pinch.
yeah.
And then our blood is just the spaghetti sauce.
Our blood is just the spaghetti sauce. Wow, yeah. I bet you'll never look at spaghetti soup the same way again.
Then what is alphabet soup? Um,
Oh my god. Yeah, it's a weird visualization in my head.
I don't know how we got here,
Isn't that
but
like mainly kind of what I mean, maybe I'm wrong about this, but isn't that a biblical concept that there's like, that souls are from heaven and then they get sent down into bodies?
I have my Bible expertise is very limited and rusty. But that sounds about right because then, whenever you die, your soul, goes up to the heaven's gates for judgment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That must be a rough job for the dude with the giant book of names. He's like, "All right, baby, group of babies, you're having a great time up here. I know it. You know it. We're all vibing. I'm gonna send you down there because your name got called on the lottery."
oh no, it's like the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
That's
and
all
then with
life
just one of the
is.
babies, like 3 fingers up in the air.
I volunteer as tribute.
All right, there you go, kid. Bam. You're going to California, baby. Go,
And then the other babies are
yeah.
like, I don't know why he volunteered. We're all gonna get picked at some point.
Yeah, it's inevitable. It really is.
What if you get? What if they get to choose when they go? Like you have to go at some point, but you're like, you know what? I don't want to go yet. The world isn't advanced enough, or ooh,
Yeah,
global warming is looking pretty bad right
I
now. The
don't think
ice
they'd
age,
let you
absolutely
do
not.
that because then you could just continually opt out until Judgment Day.
I don't really
What
feel
what if you
like
have
it,
to go down at least once? You're
mm,
like a hell diver. You drop down, right, into Earth
but you don't
till
respond,
you die. Yeah, no, but then your soul recycles back up to heaven again, and then you become a baby, and then
and
you
then they
get
just
dropped
keep.
back down.
So basically, this is the modern version of reincarnation.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And you have to hit your quota of a certain
Oh,
amount of times that you've gone down to Earth.
now we're just
Otherwise,
playing
you
Lethal
don't get to
Company.
go to you don't get to stay in heaven after Judgment Day.
Wait, so like, what is the quota for? What are we collecting? What are we getting?
Well, you got to prove, you're a good baby.
Oh, I see. So before we were already good babies, and then we get sent down here against our will, and now we have to prove that we are good babies down here before we
Yes,
can go
yes.
back for sure.
Then you could go back and continue to be a good baby because, sometimes they just have to test people.
What if? Okay, I
There
like
wouldn't
your
be any
theory's funny.
conflict if
Your
they didn't
theory's funny.
decide you got to
What
go.
if instead of like everyone has to go, what if it's only the bad babies have to go?
Oh, they send the
Kind of
bad
like
babies
how
down
like
here?
Lucifer got cast out of heaven because of that. What if everybody who's been to Earth were other people throughout time who were being bad and they got sent to Earth as
Well,
like a timeout?
yeah, what is an example of a crime that a heaven baby could commit that would get them kicked out
Sodomy.
temporarily? What? You're saying a
Um,
baby boned another baby?
hey, I don't know how the rules work in heaven, man.
My dude, that's not cool at all. Let's go back to talking about Hitler.
So I'm the problem now.
That was a problematic statement. Yeah.
No, I feel like this is being all taken out of context.
I think it could be something
Your
as
Honor,
simple.
Your
It could
Honor,
be
this video was
something. Oh
doctored.
my god.
Your Honor, you weren't even there.
You're the one that brought up.
Dear Jesus,
All
it's all
right.
jokes, I swear.
Yep. Yep. It could be
Wait,
something
so
as
then
simple
where
as
was
baby
Jesus in all of
one
this?
steals the binky out of baby two's mouth, and then Jesus is right there, and he goes, "Bro, go down, penance, and then he punts him out, and
Oh
then
no!
falls out of the
See, they were just
clouds.
playing a good game of poker, and somebody was counting cards, and they got
Oh,
caught.
yep, yep. It was in a smoky bar room. There were like
Yeah,
6 babies all sitting around,
I wonder if they have trap
smoking big
houses out
old
there.
cigars.
Definitely,
One of them slipped an ace, and the guy went, "Well, I have 4 aces, so you can't have that one."
Lucas. We told you can't put fentanyl in the drinks. Get you're back down to heaven with you.
Hitler, no, bad baby. You are not supposed to shoot people over a game of cards. To Germany with you.
George, God damn it, George Washington. We talked about this. You cannot colonize heaven. Oh, I'm sorry. This is
George Washington didn't
George.
colonize anything. What are you talking
You're
about?
right. My bad. I meant to say Queen Elizabeth. You better stop.
Oh,
You
there
better
you
go back
go.
down for another 100 years.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. She just got up there and she's like, "I'm gonna go back. I have
But
another half of the world to conquer."
she gets put in the body of somebody who's like of somebody that she colonized or like a country that she colonized.
Oh yeah, that'd be good fitting
Put her in
penance.
the Philippines.
Yeah, it's like
I
the
don't think they
opposite of.
colonized the Philippines.
They probably did. They colonized pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they colonized America. She could be
Put her
here,
somewhere where there's a lot of spices.
like
Because
Arrakis.
she's British and British people don't like spicy food.
Right.
All they do is drink tea and eat crumpets, or so I'm told.
Right. Okay, we're just gonna let that go by the wayside there. Good question. Solid question. We didn't answer it properly, but that's okay.
Oh, I can answer real quick.
No,
Have we ever talked about how we
I'm pretty
met
sure we
actually
have
on
at
here?
least twice.
We'll do a quick version.
We met in college. Okay, next question is,
Oh, you bitch.
what is your favorite form of social media?
I guess if I go by
Video,
the one I've been.
text?
Oh, I was thinking like apps.
Yeah, that could be what I mean.
If I go by the one I use the most, it'd probably be Instagram or TikTok, but mostly
Instagram
just
or
for like the doom
TikTok?
scrolling.
Yeah, that makes sense. Those are good ones for that. They think they have. Well, you could do Facebook as well. They all have
Yeah, but I don't
unlimited
like to go on
scrolling.
Facebook because it tells everybody when you're online,
Yeah,
and I
you could
really
turn
don't
that
want.
off.
I can't.
Yeah, it's a privacy setting. I turn that off on everything. I don't want people to know when I'm online stalking.
I should do that too. Half the time I'm on Facebook, I am like looking, like checking on people that I knew in high school. I'm
Oh
like,
my
wait,
god.
they got married? They have a baby? Who the heck is this? They're
Yeah.
gay? I knew it. Type shit.
There's a lot of keeping up with the Joneses that happens out there.
Yeah,
I would
keeping up
say
with the
most of my
Johns.
friends from my childhood are married and have kids.
Yeah, but weren't they all religious? And like that was kind of
Y-
the thing.
For the most part, yes.
I can't say same. Actually, a lot of people that I grew up with are married and or have kids.
Yeah.
Most of the time both.
It's almost like
Uh,
that's a normal thing for humans to do.
well, yeah. It's like, but it's like people I wasn't like super close with is the thing. The people that I used to be close with, I think only maybe a good chunk of them are married or have kids or both. The
Yeah.
rest of them, they're just kind of living life and vibing.
Nice.
And I'm like, dang, I wish I could do that. Unfortunately, here I am.
Hey, we're vibing right now. There you go.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, well, the
Yeah.
last question on this, we've almost made it all the way through it. We're flying through them. Have you been on any interesting trips lately?
Lately?
Mushrooms or otherwise? Dropping
No,
acid in the
no
bathtub?
drug trips. Haven't done that in years.
Right, right.
You
Not
were
that
there
you were a
for
baby.
that one. Yeah, when we were just wee lads.
Yep, yep.
We were out in the yard and we actually found mushrooms and it was crazy.
You
That's
know,
why
we
we got
have.
kicked out of
I have
heaven.
actually, not me, but a friend of mine found in a pile of cow poop. There were actual, I think, psilocybin mushrooms.
Is that shrooms?
Yeah, that's like the psychedelic kind, the
Oh,
good psychedelic kind. I would say, not versus the like, you know,
psilocybin,
bad ones.
psilocybin. Oh, and it was just in the poop.
Mm-hmm. Well, because
That
cows,
sounds tripping.
oh yeah, yeah, cows just kind of wander around and they eat stuff, and if they randomly eat, you know, a psilocybin mushroom, they're high as
Oh,
balls until they poop it out, and then it grows again.
oh, I
It's
didn't know.
crazy.
That's wild.
Life cycle of a
Wild.
mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, not non-drug trips involved. Have you been on any interesting trips lately?
Um, lately, not really. The latest trip I would have been on would have been over to round. Was it round one? I think. Well, that I talked about a
Yeah,
couple
that
weekends
counts.
ago.
I mean, a trip is just, I think, anything that if you leave the house.
Oh, I guess
Interesting
that's
trip. I
right.
went to Walmart. I got attacked by a person.
Interesting. Interesting.
Not a true
Nothing
story. I'm just giving an
memorable.
example.
Yeah, nothing memorable's really happened on a trip. Then
Hmm.
there really hasn't been anything memorable these last couple of weeks outside of just hanging out, playing games, working.
Hey, man, I feel that. That's my preferred way to do it.
Endless cycles.
Yep. Speaking of going on interesting trips, it's one of the this actually I can't believe how nicely this ties in because one of the topics that I wrote beforehand was that someone okay, I have moved a lot in my life.
Hmm.
As a former military child, I've moved around. I mean, a lot of people that grew up where I grew up moved around a lot. I got kind of lucky and I got to stay put for the first, quarter of my life, then some, maybe first half, I would say. But then the second half has been moving around a whole lot and then settling down eventually and kind of staying in one spot. So I'm kind of used to being the one that yeets. I leave. I go places.
Hmm.
Not willingly, it's just kind of not like intentionally, I would say. It just is how it is. That's how my life was. And now it's really weird because I get to experience the opposite side of that. I'm the one that's staying in one place for a certain amount of time. And
Hmm.
at least in this exact moment, the bulk I would say of my friend group down where I'm living now are all moving somewhere for the summer, basically.
Mm.
Like one of them went to Colorado, one of them went to New Mexico, another one of them's going to Europe.
Oh, that's
For like
cool.
jobs and stuff, and then Europe is, I think, a vacation sort of concept. And then I'm going like, all right, guys, bye.
See you later.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like hanging out for like 2 months without seeing anybody. It's
Hmm.
gonna be wild.
You're not used to that.
No, 'cause like I said, I'm used to the other side. I'm used to just being like, all right, guys, deuces, and then I leave.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's
It's
bound to happen
interesting to
eventually.
see the other side of it now.
See, I've been in that boat pretty much my whole life. Everyone's always going places, and I'm stuck in the same place. I mean,
Oh
I've
yeah,
moved a lot, obviously, because school and stuff like that. But I mean,
true. Yeah, yeah.
I've only been pretty much here or down there. I mean, I was in Georgia for like a summer, but that's it. In the last like pretty much a whole life, honestly. I haven't really gone anywhere. I don't really travel very much,
Yeah. I
which
mean,
I'd like to
how
change
many
that. That'd
you
be
okay,
really cool.
you've gone Texas to Georgia and Alabama, right?
Well, that was just to visit Alabama.
Oh,
That
okay,
wasn't
okay.
to
Like
like
places
live.
you've lived rather. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Outside of Texas, one, which was Georgia, and that was just for the summer.
Would you say that Georgia was a very different experience to Texas?
Well, yeah, in the sense that I didn't have anybody there. I didn't know anything or anywhere to go. I kind of got stuck with, or I was stuck at home pretty much the whole time because I was living with my grandparents at the time.
Right.
Uh, and uh, what's it called? I don't have my own vehicle, so I couldn't just leave and go out whenever I wanted or meet people or do anything like that. And I was trying to get a job that summer, but nowhere hired me. So I was really just stuck for the whole summer.
Yeah. Not exactly the ideal living situation.
Not at all. Not at all.
But you like basically well, you went back afterwards, right? Back to Texas?
Yeah, I only stayed there for the summer because that's when that was the summer that the school was like, hey, if you're not a freshman, you can't live on campus. And
Oh,
so I had to
right,
find
yeah.
it. That's when I ended up moving next door to Uptown.
Gotcha. Oh, okay,
I
okay.
think it was the same year that we met. No, no, because we met my first year in college. That's right. We met in 2018. Yeah, so it was the year after we met when I came back. And you're like, hey, I think we work well together. Do you want to work on YouTube? And I was like,
Ah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. That was our origin story.
Mhm. All right, here. I'll be right back. My microphone is acting up, and I got to reposition it.
Okay. Then I will. Okay, I can launch into my my third pod top of the day. and that is I have developed a new, semi-new writing workflow. Specifically, this is in relation to my Dungeons and Dragons campaign setting, Anio, the lost realm of. It's the software that I'm using is called Obsidian, and it's something that I switched to a couple of years back. I was doing all of my writing in a Google document, and to give some backstory and lore to this uh, project that I've been working on, and the document ended up being so long that the Google Doc stopped functioning, and so I had to kind of back it off. And I was having to I like open up a second document to start writing it because it would take like 5 minutes to load the pages. And when I would need to be writing something that was in page like 95, and I had to wait a minute for it to go, all right, 10 pages, 30 pages, 15 more pages. And I was like, okay, this is just unbearable. And so I made this switch over to another program called Obsidian, which is great.
Mhm.
It's a great program. Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
100% recommend it, especially for world building. And I mean, really, it's good for just note taking in general because you can like link things to each other within it. It's
Oh,
super
wait.
handy.
Are you said you yeah, I remember that because you were helping me, do that with the TV show, which I forgot all about.
Yes, yes. Obsidian is an amazing program. Honestly, uh, and it's totally free as well. There's a paid version of it that lets you sync it online. Like it gives you a cloud save, and you
Mhm,
can sync it between like your phone, for example, and your computer if you're working on there. Now, I mainly just work on my computer, and then we'll write stuff randomly down in a smaller Google Doc and then just transfer it over. But it's totally worth. Well, I don't know. As someone who hasn't purchased it, it's totally an awesome program. Totally recommend it. One of the things that they have on there is it's called a canvas, and it's basically just a giant sort of blank space that you could put squares inside of. Really, they're any shape you wanted, but they're like a square, and then you can write text inside of that square, and then you can draw little arrows between that square and the next square over. You can make another square and connect that square to another square. And so I've been
it's like
slowly
a big
building out.
web.
Yes, it slowly gets larger and larger the more that you write. And so what I've been using it for, well, unintentionally, I started making when I was working on the overall blocking for the novelization of campaign 1, I was sort of blocking out all of the different major scenes and then creating little offshoots of, hey, what are like the characters that are within this chapter of the book? Say there is split up by chapters. They're not right now. They're kind of just split up by concept, and however
Mhm,
long that concept takes will be how many chapters it takes. But let's say it's split up by chapter, right? So block 1 is chapter 1. What
mhm,
inside of this block happens in this scene, right? Without spoiling anything, that's the chapter 1 of the book would be the Cinnamon Festival, and the attack on the Cinnamon Festival, where they're trying to start off the coronation ceremony to elect a new ruler of the realm. And so they get attacked and escape. That's kind of the general concept of quote unquote chapter 1.
yeah,
Now, within that block, I have made a couple of offshoots. Like, who are the characters, who are the heroes within this scene? Who are the villains within this scene? And then I have more offshoots from there. It's like, okay, this character exists here, but they leave in, let's say, chapter 3. So then in that chapter, I can then make an arrow basically just going away and making another little blurb that goes, this character has gone to do this, and not worry about that for the rest of the time. And it's just off shots somewhere way out there. That's
mhm,
been super helpful for the novelization to visualize what the novel looks like. My goal, my end goal of that being once I have all the blocks put together, I can then shift things around if I need to move a scene earlier or move it later or cut it out entirely or make it a sub scene. I could just move that block that I have as a major story beat to like a sub story beat. And then I could just
yeah,
link that to one of the other ones so that when I zoom out, I can look at chapter 5 and see these are the characters within that scene. These are the villains, or the heroes, I should say. These are the villains. This is the major conflict. These are the monsters that I need to worry about. And I was as I was doing that, I was like, this would be a really good system to write out campaign 2, the novelization, I would say, and the final act of it, as well as just start blocking the entirety of campaign 3 pre actually us playing it. And so
Mhm.
now, what I realized I was doing is I was making like quest chains. Is I have the major story beats, and then off of those, I don't really have heroes and villains. Well, at certain points, there's like a major villain, or there's
Yeah.
some minor conflicts that are happening. Like during a specific segment of the story, I have an offshoot that goes, "Hey, there are incursions, there are monsters. What are these?" And then I laid out like five, I think, 4 or 5 different scenarios that I had already been thinking of in my brain. See, it's so annoying because the way that my brain works is I think of a lot of things. I think a lot of thoughts. I think a lot of deep, deep thoughts,
Mhm.
and I don't always write them down. And so sometimes
Well, that's
I
when you messed up.
sometimes I forget them, and sometimes I don't forget them. And the ones that I don't forget just stick there in my brain for ages. It's like I go back through the same it's like retreading down that neural pathway again. Like, oh, you're
Mhm.
brushing your teeth. You don't have to think about brushing your teeth. You've done it so many times. You just kind of do it. I've
Okay.
thought down that path in my brain enough times that I go, okay, so I think I've described the way that my brain has a separate chunk dedicated to writing, dedicated to this world
Mhm.
where I can just go right and look at that thing and it's still like idling in the background. Where I can look over there
Okay.
and I go, "What was the last thing that I was working on in this?" Ah, okay, that's what it was. And we were working on the monster scenarios, or we were working on the childhood uh events that happened when we were building these characters. And then I go, okay, what were the major ones that I was thinking about? And that was like this, and this. What if we had another one? What would another one be? So none of this is written down at this point. And
Okay.
now that I have written it down, I'm like, oh, thank God. I can't believe like the initial burst of me blocking out campaign 3 was all of just what I was thinking and
Mhm.
going, this is like I how on earth did I have this in my brain not written down, and now I have to be concerned, what did like, did I forget anything? I don't think
Yeah.
I did, but now that I have it all written down, I can finally start moving forward with it to make more. There is, like, a big jump. I have, like, 4 major blocks right now in campaign 3. The first 3 are all solid. Well, the first one's solid and the third one's solid. The middle one is very vague
Mhm.
because I think it might just be a subscene, but the third slash fourth one, the final one, is like, hey, this like I have a header that's this happens at the end. This goes way over there, but because we don't have, section 3.5 done,
Mhm.
we know what the ending is. Like we know how this all ends. So we need to work backwards from there kind of. And so that's going to start getting expanded out even more. I was very excited because it's the first time I'm able to really visually, like, I feel confident that I could hand campaign 1 to you and you would beat for beat know all of these things that we've done
Yeah.
because it's laid out so plainly. Like I'm planning on making a full through line for the evil wizard Zolgral. From from number 1, he's going to have his own chain of events that he's doing at the top. Same with the other characters. Like the other major villains are also going to be doing various things. And then I can see visually how that ties into the campaign that the players slash the heroes of the story are going to be experiencing as they go forward.
I see.
It's a very powerful tool that I highly recommend to people that if you're interested in writing, interested in world creation, it's amazing.
Do me a favor. Can you reteach me how to use that later?
Yeah, absolutely. If
Because
you've got
I
Obsidian downloaded,
do
it
know.
is
Yeah, I
is
just
amazing.
re-downloaded it
Yep.
actually while you were talking. My so one of the stories I've been kind of it's kind of I guess a fan fiction kind of story just because it's like an already media it's a Dragon Ball universe kind of thing. And
Okay.
it's using my characters from a game. I think I've talked about it before.
Yes, the ones that you
But
created during one of the Dragon Ball games that
yeah,
fit into the
and like
storyline of that.
correct. And I think collectively I have at least a good maybe 30, 40 pages of story. And again, that's all single space.
Oh gosh, yeah, right.
And the last time I shared like an updated version with my friend, who he's been kind of following along it this whole time, he was like, "You've got to find a better way to organize this because it's all in Google Docs."
Yeah,
Uh,
Google Docs is great, but I don't know, they just don't have enough tools,
yeah,
or
there's
I don't
extremely
understand how to
limited.
use it enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and so because I remembered, excuse me, I remembered how cool it was because I think I still have it on my laptop for UJS and how cool that was. And I forgot Obsidian existed. I need to go back and fix that and finish that. But
Yeah,
now I
I
want
know
to do
we
that
started
for
working
this
on that, so
story.
you probably still have, well, that may have been a computer ago, so you might have to dig that out.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope not, because you might be right. Actually, I think it was that one, the one that was holding on by thread,
Yeah, yeah.
the HP.
I still have a memory of us. I don't know if we were looking at your laptop. I think we were.
Hmm.
That, and then you just had a ton of loose papers, and we were just sitting in like a McDonald's, like reading through these papers and going like, okay, okay, I see what you're going for here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this was like before we had
Oh, was this
actually.
for was this for UJS?
Yeah, this is for UJS. Yeah.
Oh, it's probably just all the pictures that I drew of them.
I think it might have been that. Maybe that was your initial pitch. I don't
Yeah,
really remember now. That was a
but
long time ago.
no, because when we started talking about, we were in your room because I don't know why, but we just started talking about like projects that we had made like as kids or whatever, and I brought it
Hmm.
up. And I was like, yeah, I kind of made this whole thing, and like there's technically like three different seasons of it because that's whenever I would draw them, and like I have a really loose story about it. And you're like, oh well, why don't you tell me about it? And I was like, wait, are you serious? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, well, I have the drawings at home. You go, okay, cool, let's go get them. And so we went and got it, and it was in like in this blue little file
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
organizer
yeah.
thing, which is somewhere in here. I think it's over there.
I'm surprised
And
that at that moment you didn't. Well, that I had to ask, as I've witnessed you hold people hostage, discussing UJS with him for like multiple. You've told me you've talked to people about it for like multiple hours.
okay. So listen, let me defend myself real
It's
quick.
like that can't have been the first time that you went like, oh, okay, let me tell somebody about this.
Let me defend myself real quick. I think when I was talking about it with you, well, to be fair, when I held quote unquote held people hostage later on, because you were the first person I really talked about it in depth with.
Oh
Everyone
gosh,
else, I kinda
I
showed them the
unleashed a
pictures, and that's
floodgate.
really it. Yeah, it's your fault because
Yeah.
the whenever I, quote, unquote, again, held somebody hostage, it was because not only was it just an idea, now it had stuff behind it. Now it, like, was planned out. There was a roadmap for it. Before, it was just
Oh
like, "Oh, yeah,
yeah.
here's some characters, and then here's what I kinda think would happen with them, and here's, like, their personality," stuff like that. But then, when later on, I had already planned out fucking 5, 6 seasons of it,
Right.
multiple movies. I'd been making more characters. I had been like planning out specific interactions. And so as for the holding people hostage, the first person I really talked about it and gone deep into it with is because I told him the entire storyline.
Right,
And
right.
you know me, I can't tell it straight. I have to explain every detail and every
Yeah.
foreshadow that happens.
That's
In my
why I struggle to
defense,
tell people about audio is because everywhere I start, I have to back up.
no, I get it. I get it 100% because I'm in the same boat. And in my defense, bless his heart, I'm so sorry, Chris. My friend Chris, um, he's very much a listener, and he loves when people indulge and like talk about their special interests and stuff like that. So
Right.
I don't think he was expecting that can of worms.
Yeah, yeah.
As for other people later on, it has gotten less and less. I know I pitched it to both Chanel and Jacob, and they both have said, don't spoil everything, first and foremost. We want to see it happen, but also I need to learn on picking out the most important things to talk about
Oh
and not
yeah.
sit here and explain everything that's going on. Or if I explain something and somebody asks about it, then I can explain it more instead of just, oh, you don't understand this because you don't understand this, or you don't
Yeah,
get why this is like this.
I feel like man, I don't know if there is a term for it. It's like the making the pitch for it, right? You have to like
Mhm.
reduce the entire concept down to
Yeah,
like a page and a half of information. And some of that's like,
And I feel like
like
that's
the log
gosh
line
darn
or whatever.
criminal.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
so much that goes into this for me to go, "Oh, yeah, it's a show about some kids with powers who live in this alternate universe where everyone has powers, and the humans are bad guys, and they have to stop them." That's it. That's season 1.
Yeah.
That
And
versus,
then the
well, you
execs going
see,
like,
in
"Yeah,
this
okay,
world that
alright, I
I've
could see that."
created, there was only one universe, but then it got split in two in the past, and now you go to the future and this happens, and then you go back to the past, which is actually the present day, and you have these same characters, but now they're kids, and now this guy's trying to kill them, and now they have to stop him, and then this other guy who's not there because he's from the future, but now he's stuck in the like. It's mad
Yeah,
confusing.
yeah. When you start with, "Okay, when I was a child," and then you
Yeah,
snowball
that's
from
fair.
there, then you snowball from there into and the movie starts in the future before it jumps back to the past where we
It's
meet
not
the
even the movie.
heroes
That's
as
the show.
children, and you're like, "Oh my god, what is happening?"
For anyone who has any interest at all, I've been working on a TV show not recently that is I had planned out 6 seasons and three movies and I think 1 to 2 spinoffs.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, technically, I think season 1 is in review if you would ever actually send those documents out to people to review.
Shut up! Listen. I'm not. Shut up.
We're gonna get to listen back to this. Okay, we can quote this episode right here, 6/2/24, as the I don't even know how many. It's been like 2 years since we got it to the point where you were willing to send it out to people and haven't. So it's gonna no, it's been longer than that. Okay, all right, can't get
Has it?
distracted. I think it has.
Oh
I think it has.
no, that's
So
embarrassing.
yeah,
It's
if I
because
can't
I started
publicly
working on
shame
season
you,
2.
uh-huh. If I can't publicly shame you into sending it out now, we'll see how
Who am I
long,
gonna send
how
it
many
to?
more months before we actually get to.
Do you know how much you have to read? Okay, so, like, because it's, like, written in episode format is the thing. So,
Right,
like,
yeah, yeah. So it should be scripted out. So it's going to be shorter
it's
than if it was
scripted
like an
out.
actual story.
That's fair.
All right.
Okay.
Well, anyway, we have hit our time. Thank you all for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
We're yeah, yeah. Send us your comments on Twitter. Please interact with our jokes. We spend a lot of
We
time and
post
effort.
multiple times a week.
We're really funny, we swear.
We are funny, we swear.
But
Uh,
thanks for listening,
and
everybody.
if you guys do interact, maybe we'll start uploading more than one podcast a week. Don't quote me
Ooh,
on that. That was
yeah,
a joke.
you heard it here first,
No, no,
everybody.
no, no. I
We're
can't
going
even
to
do
2 a
that.
week, one on Wednesdays.
Oh no.
The one day a week we don't post
Yeah,
anything
we'll just split this or each podcast in half. So
in
they get
30-minute
30
segments.
minute
Yeah, yeah, I
doses.
think we can get
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
that.
yeah.
All right, well, see y'all next time or on Twitter.
Bye.
Bye.